Program 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 Director and Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma and Comrade Lindiwe Sisulu, the Mlangeni family, relatives, friends, and comrades, the leaders of our movement, the African National Congress, the leaders of the party, and the leaders of the Federation, veterans and stalwart. The presence of so many leaders in this today's gathering signifies the importance of the event and the person that we are bidding a farewell. Very rare you will have Comrade Halima, Comrade President Cyril, the SG, Comrade Kasril, Sophie de Brain, Comrade Godbuza, and Ngozi Elezi together. It all signifies the man in which we're paying tribute today. While we mourn this great loss, we also celebrate the life of one of South African inspirational leaders, a giant in the revolutionary struggle for human rights, for freedom, for equality, a true trade unionist in heart. The Federation salutes one of the best political figures to be produced by this country, who emerged during the dark days of our country and never wavered in the cause of freedom. We remember him for his sense of humor, dedication, integrity, and selflessness. We thank him and his generation for risking everything and dedicating their lives to the revolutionary struggle for free South Africans from the shackles of apartheid. Mlangeni was a principal leader who never compromised his values and was always loyal and available to assist his beloved ANC whenever it needed him. It was not by accident that it ended up serving in the Integrity Commission in his later years. He was the most qualified for this job because he was always a unifier who never lost hope of his role as a leader and the servant of the people. He was the best teacher because he taught us through action rather than words. He taught us about the value of leadership, not through quoting dead philosophers, but through his commitment, dedication, humility, selflessness, loyalty, and discipline. He became embodiment of the ethical leadership in the movement, and he showed us to be true servant to the people. Comrade Halima used to tell us in the Alliance Secretariat the difference between a veteran and stalwart. Comrade Mlangeni was not just a veteran. He was a stalwart not because of the years he spent in the movement. His immense contribution to the struggle against racist dictatorship, apartheid brutality, and exploitation of the poor. Our main challenge now is to try and emulate leaders like Mlangeni as we try to solve our outrageous level of corruption, unemployment, poverty, and inequality. The country is poor today after the death of this legendary freedom fighter and a political titan. We can only do justice to his legacy by rededicating ourselves to fight against corruption, factionalism, and political charlatan. We'll remember his teaching through Comrade Halima, who used to tell us about Comrade Mlangeni in the Alliance Secretariat. He normally said about 4 principles that I would quickly go to it. He said, we must always remember that there are leaders and there is an organization. That leaders will come and go, but the organization will remain. He told us that we must never turn our back against the organization, no matter how frustrated we may be by leaders. He told us about When once join an organization, you join a leader. You don't become a member of another member, but you become the member of the organization. Comrade Mlangeni never outsourced thinking. He normally indicate and teach us that knowledge, as the Ghanaian idiom normally says, knowledge without wisdom is like water in the sand. Want to thank the ANC for honoring Comrade Mlangeni with the highest award while he was still alive, not flowers to his grave. That Mlangeni has traveled his journey, he has run his race. Our responsibility is to pick up the spear so that he does not get buried with his spear and carried on. Thank you very much.
That are present here, Comrade Becky, leadership of our military struggle in MK, the family of Comrade Mlangeni, cellular of Sylvia Maureen and Mom Priscilla, and the grandchildren. The SACP sends its deepest condolences to the Mlangeni family, the June and Andrew Mlangeni Foundation, and the whole of the liberation movement and our fraternal organizations. Ngate Mlangeni, who was the recipient of the Lenin Peace Prize, was a towering communist at heart and in how he lived, and was an unwavering national patriot who has sadly fallen. Therefore, closing the illustrious chapter of that special leadership of the golden generation of our revolutionary struggle against oppression, apartheid oppression and colonialism. Those who were simplified through the Rivonia trialist. He attended our 4th Special National Congress last year, November. And when he came, he said to Comrade Blade, I'm here to ensure that you chaps don't deviate from the principles of our party. And he spent some time with us, which we deeply cherish. We must indicate that it will not be easy to emulate his almost unfaltering deeds. But we can attest that we will try our best, because even if there's just one of us left, his revolutionary ideas and all of the Rivonia trialists, but more so, the ideas of communism shall be carried forward until all forms of human exploitation by other human beings are completely eradicated. A truly free society based on the equal sharing of all wealth of society. Tate Mlangeni was a great, dignified, and courageous hero of our struggle, and a simple man of society, who, as he attested in his book, The Backroom Boy, he led from the back, but always his ideas were instrumental. He taught us to be simple and humble, and that being so, it's not lack of militancy or lack of adherence to principle, but in fact, it's a hallmark of greatness. And that commitment to non-racialism is not the loss of one's identity or a people, but affirmation of our humanity and common destiny. We shall remain committed to continue the struggle against neoliberal capitalism and its abrogation of public power, as well as its abrogation of public resources, its conversion of government leaders into obedient servants of capitalism that leaves the masses trapped in perpetual poverty and squalor, and indebted constantly to the vagaries of the greedy capitalist system. This system has to be defeated, and society has to appreciate that all major social inequalities will never be resolved for as long as this system is dominant. For our part, we shall continue his example to confront the greed that has engulfed even our movement and society in general, the greed of chasing money, opulence, and status, even by Judases draped in our revolutionary colors, who steals from the poor, who loot the state coffers dry, and get protected by factions inside our movement. That we shall challenge and fight and win the war against COVID-19, which is the primary task of the revolution today. We shall win equally the war against gender-based violence, patriarchy and sexism, and capitalist social reproduction, and win the war against poverty and greed. In your memory, of course, in fulfillment of your own value system. And we call on society as well to remain vigilant and take care of each other, particularly in the midst of this COVID-19 pandemic, and offer social solidarity to one another, like what Mlangeni used to do. Even during this period, he used to organize and distribute food to the people. We duly condemn, in the same spirit, those riding on the crest wave of the fight against COVID-19 for self-enrichment, solidifying the name of our revolutionary movement and the integrity of such stalwarts as Mlangeni. You lived well, dear comrade, and our father. We want to say and quote on this 26th of July, the words of Fidel Castro, who established his own revolutionary movement on this day, way back. That I quote, "You have given all and everything for the revolution, and you have done nothing against it." Close quote. We thank you very much, Babu Mlangeni, Siaparangwe, Istalandwe. Rest in eternal glory. Your fighting spirit will live on. Thank you.
Thank you to COSATU and SACP. Like all cadres of his generation,